Hi, and welcome to the Chef My Life podcast. This is episode 2 with my friend and fabulous chef, Mr. Pat Lee. What's up, buddy?
Hey guys, hi everybody. Thank you for having me on. Looking forward to talking to my good buddy Dave. It's been a long time. Got to catch up with some things, but great to be on board.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to have you too. I was the first podcast guest on Patrick's podcast, Cast Iron Conversations. Wanted to make sure that we catch up just like this. We chat, obviously, when we're not podcasting, but
Yeah.
It's funny. It seems like sometimes creators are a bit like that, like you don't talk unless you're making content, but that's not the case in real life, at least not with people that are actually friends like us.
Yeah, we didn't actually start making content until after we became friends. So that's what kind of helps our dynamic, is that we built that friendship first from the Organic Valley event, and then we started building content. But yeah, I do agree with you. I feel like a lot of creators nowadays tend to hate when it's something that benefits their platforms and lose that sense of community because of that.
Yeah, you're right. And I'm all about community and actually being friends. I feel like people don't know how to be friends anymore because of the internet. We're so connected that we're disconnected.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It's a shame because I remember like my parents when they were in their like early 30s were like having card games with their friends. Their friends would come over. We were friends with the kids of their friends. And it's just not like that anymore. We're so connected and yet alienated from one another. It's bizarre to me.
Yeah, I think part of the issue is, like you said, it's because of social media. We're connected in a sense that we post every single day or as much as we possibly can. We tend to know a lot about people right off the bat from their posts and their social media content, to the point where you don't even get to know about people in person anymore. I don't know anybody who has high school reunions anymore. Like my mom had one, my grandparents had one, and this was before social media. You had the chance to catch up with people that you hadn't seen in a while. You had to go out your way to basically say, what are they doing with their life now? What are they working on? What do they do for a living? How's their family? Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you can see all of that within a status. So using you as an example, not saying that this is an actual interaction, but I can see how you and your wife and kids are doing on social media, see that you took a vacation somewhere, and that's the interaction. Whereas before, I'd actually have to call you on the phone, or we'd have to meet in person over drinks or something, and you tell me these things. There's no sense of, I have to connect with you. Everything that I need to ask is already put on display.
It like takes away the wondering. You don't have to wonder what I've been up to, or I don't have to wonder what you've been up to because we put it all out there. Not everybody is like us either that puts it all out there.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw you the other day and you had that moment in your car right before you went into the gym talking about just like the struggles of being a content creator and that you were looking for a job because it can't be a full-time job for everybody. And I sat there and I was like, oh man, I should just call him. And I was like, we're going to talk in a couple of days so I can talk anyway. But
yeah,
it's weird because I knew what was going on with you almost in that moment. And yet we didn't have a phone call until now.
Yeah.
So you good with talking about that? Because that was a really honest moment. I appreciated that you put that out there and that you put out that moment of honesty and clarity. You're one of the hardest working dudes I know in the creative space. And so I've seen you grow as a creator since we met. To hear you say it's not enough, it's a little discouraging, but at the same time, it's real. I appreciate that you shared your reality. I don't think enough people do that. They're trying too hard to make it perfect. And real life is not perfect, right?
Yeah. And it's something that I feel a lot of creators need to get comfortable with speaking on, not just for their audiences, but for themselves. I feel like content creation kind of puts this mirror up of, you have millions of followers or supporters, as I like to call them. You have brand deals left and right. You have this picture perfect content that comes out with no errors, no issues. People are engaging with your post. And then to someone from the outside looking within who may be new to content creation, they see that as, oh, wow, you have all this stuff that's going right for you. You must be rich. But people don't realize that Not every single content creator gets to make it to that point where they get to do content creation full time. And for a while, I was getting brand deals. I was getting that type of push on social media, but a lot of that is reliant on those platforms themselves, not only pushing your content, but also finding ways to compensate you with bonuses or ways to make money through their platforms. Right now, I'm in the phase where I'm still doing well on my platforms, thankfully. I'm not really getting as many brand deals as I could. And that's on me. As I always say, you have to reinvent yourself as a content creator and find ways to adapt and overcome obstacles. But this is my time to reflect on what I've been doing with my content. How can I make my content more appealing? What are some ways that I can grow outside of the norm so I can stay relevant? That's when I decided to take a step back, look at my platforms. We'll talk about it as we go on with the podcast, but making changes to my previous podcast platform and change the dynamic of what it is now could be telling people that my life is one way, but it really isn't. There's a lot of people out there who do content creation and they have millions of followers and they work a 9 to 5. There's nothing wrong with working and doing content creation. You have to work hard to make your dreams come true. And sometimes that means taking a second or third job just to make sure that your entrepreneurship dreams and goals can't suffice.
Yeah, that's right. You have to fund your own venture. And that's also, I want to say, I don't think it's you. I don't think it's me. I think it's everybody is suffering a little bit because of the economy. And that's a real factor. I forgot who it is that said that advertising was basically the key to success, which it is. But we're in a different dynamic, something that's totally new that brands still aren't 100% on board with, and they don't 100% understand that we're the new advertisers. We're the ones that put it in front of people in a way that people will understand and engage with. Whereas television ads used to be it, right? Television ads, newspapers, magazines. Newspapers phased out a long time ago. Magazines, they're all ads now. It's not even worth picking up a magazine, it feels. And sorry, magazines, but that's the truth. You're so full of ads. It's just, it's not even enjoyable to read those magazines anymore. And then now television, it's all streaming, right? It's all on demand. Yeah, there are YouTube ads. There are ads on Netflix and some other platforms. But still, television advertising it doesn't reach the way that it used to be, because what's the first thing you do when you see an ad on YouTube? Skip.
Yep.
There'll probably be an ad in just a few minutes and then somebody will skip it, right?
Exactly.
Basically, if you want to watch us, if you want to learn something, it's going to be there. And so the advertisers themselves need to wrap their heads around this, that you used to spend millions of dollars on ads on television. Now you're spending hundreds, maybe thousands on influencers, and we're reaching a more engaged audience, one that is there to actually watch us, right? People tune in to see you, right? They tune in to see your content because you present the kind of content that they like. And same thing with me. We serve some of the same people, but then we serve different crowds also. Mine are skewed a little bit more to the female side. Females from ages like 30 to 60 are who watch me the most.
Yeah, mine's is varied. It's for most of my platforms, it's mostly women from the age ranges of 30 to 45. YouTube is the only platform, which I'm surprisingly growing on now, that's mostly male dominated, and it's the ages of 18 to 30. So I've gotten a lot of younger viewers on my YouTube page.
That's interesting. Yeah, my demographics seem to stay the same. I think it's the beard. It's all white, so they're like, oh, there's somebody my age.
I'm getting there. I got a couple of them coming in. Hopefully they come in sooner than later.
Tinsel on the tree, as I call it.
But yeah,
that's honest too. I'm not all done up, and I'm embracing it. This is what you get, y'all.
And that's the 2 points I wanted to bring up. One, that's exactly why people resonate with content creators, because there's no smoke and mirrors, there's no cosmetic surgery. Some people do, but that's their business. But
yeah,
what you're getting on camera is the actual person. You're getting somebody in their everyday life, their everyday habitat. Sometimes they may not have their makeup done. Sometimes their hair might not be done. But that's everyday people's lives. And that's what resonates with people who watch our platforms, is that they want to see people who they can relate with. Brands used to spend millions of dollars on advertising, and now they spend thousands on content creators. And the ones that are late to the game need to realize when you pay, let's say you're doing a advertisement in its current form. So you have to pay for a copywriter, you have to pay for an editor, you have to pay for a cameraman, a photographer, you have to pay for the actual acting talent itself, and that's money. Whereas with the content creator, you're getting all of that, and the prices that we charge aren't even comparable to what you would pay all that for previous advertisers.
Right.
So you're really getting a good investment with the content creator. They actually have a connection to that audience that you're trying to reach out to. Now, some of these brands, unfortunately, I've seen it before. I haven't had that problem with my brand deals personally, but I have seen some brands that are so caught up in, we want this to come across as organic as possible, but at the same time, we're telling you how to produce your content. And then when they don't resonate with the audience, they blame the creator as opposed to themselves. When the actuality is, if you're hiring that creator to advertise your product for you, trust their vision, trust where they're going to take that content. If I'm getting paid X amount of dollars to promote a brand, I want your brand to succeed, because that means you'll work with me in the future and other brands will work with me too. So trust that I know what I'm talking about to promote.
And you want quality content. You're going to produce quality content, because long after that you're done with whatever brand that might be, your supporters are still going to be there and they're still going to be watching your content. So you don't want to put out a junk piece just to hawk some sort of device or service when those people are going to be sticking around. And honestly, they might not if you make them mad. And don't give them quality content. A lot is actually on us that I think advertisers don't realize.
Yeah. And also, to bring up a point, if you see me speak on a brand on my platform, it's because, one, it's either a brand that I actually support in real life, or it's a brand that I've always wanted to work with, that I've heard good things about, that I actually researched, and I can say, hey, your values align with mine, and I can promote your product as such. And I say that because it also means that I'm not going to just take money from any brand that's out there, which means that if it's a brand that we're willing to work with, your expectations of high quality content are my expectations of a brand that, once this partnership is over with, my audience can go back and say, okay, you work with a brand that was reputable. You work with a brand that, we resonate with as well. It's not just, oh, you just took a cash deal and went about your business. That's simply not the case. Like, prime example, I know I joke about it all the time. I talk about crumble cookies all the time. And if anybody who watches my videos, my dislike for crumble cookies, if you like crumble cookies, I'm not going to knock you. That's your business. But it is a brand that I personally have had bad experiences with. And I will tell you off the bat, no matter how much money they would offer me for a brand partnership, I would not take it. It's not a brand that aligns with my platform. It's not a brand that I actually enjoy myself. It's more so that creators have to be honest in saying, look, this isn't a partnership that I would want to work with. And I'm not just going to do something for money. It has to be something that people can take my word as, okay, you said you didn't want to work with them? Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'm the same way with you as you are with, if I don't trust it, if I wouldn't use it myself, I'm not going to present it to my audience. And in fact, I go one step farther and I won't present anything that I haven't used or experienced myself. I'm not just going to take something out of the box and say, all right, let's see what this does, because it might be junk in a week and you don't know that unless you've experienced it. Somebody sent me a juicer and I fired it up and I did not like it at all. So I never made the content. And I just offered to send it back to him because I didn't want to be dishonest, but I couldn't present it because it was bad.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a major brand. Somebody wants to send you something to try out. Okay, will you make some content with this if I send it to you? So I say now, because I had that one experience, I say, I will only present to my audience things that I have tested, tried. If I test it, I try it, I don't like it, I'm not going to present it. So fair warning. And so that puts it on them. They have to feel confident that their product is good before they'll commit to that. I think being honest with the advertisers is also important. You're honest with your audience. So being honest with the advertisers, not overpromising, because you could definitely do that. Your piece could just totally flop.
Yeah, exactly.
But they need to understand that risk too. And I find that companies, when I present it in that way, I find that they actually trust me more because I'm being open and honest with them and not just in it for the money or in it for the free product or whatever it might be. And that's my responsibility, I think.
Yeah, like you said, it's all about honesty and it's all about holding yourself to your values. I agree with you. Like, I would never personally take a product that I've never tried or tested myself before because, one, you don't know what the product's long-term effects or damage could be. Just like you mentioned that you had a juicer that you couldn't record content for. I'm not going to name the brand either because I wouldn't disrespect them like that, but there was a brand that one time sent me samples of a protein coffee. And this was like 5, 6 years ago. This is before I started making paid brand content, but they were like, oh, we'll send you some samples of our coffee. We'd love for you to try it out. And I made the video. And as I was trying the coffee and I finally got to taste it, I had to spit it out. It wasn't that good. I had to reach out to the brand and tell them that the coffee was nasty. It had this really bitter, nasty, chalky aftertaste. I didn't feel comfortable with posting the video because while, yeah, this is a requirement that you asked me to do, I don't want to knock your brand and saying, hey, this coffee was nasty.
Right.
The company was like, all right, cool. We respect your opinion. You don't have to post the content. And then I saw somebody else who posted the exact same video when they got that coffee. And they said it was the best coffee they ever had. It was delicious. They started naming all the things about the coffee from the quality to the taste to the texture that they said they liked about it. So me being who I am, I had to message the person. I said, did you really like that coffee or were you just saying that for the camera? And they said, listen, it's the first time I got to reach out to a brand. I just told them what they wanted to hear and kept it moving.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it's discouraging to hear stuff like that because you're really just doing it for the attention, the money, and the notoriety. But if you don't like something or if you don't feel comfortable with saying something, be honest about that. Especially if it's a product that people know isn't good. And then if you tell people that it is, then your audience is going to start questioning your loyalty to them because they're going to think that you're going to be willing to push every and anything on them just for $1.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a coffee, mushroom coffee. So they sent it to me. I liked it. And actually I felt the benefits of it. It was for digestion aid and stuff like that. So I felt the benefits for it. So I made the video. Man, that company has some haters. People were coming at me saying this is nasty or hated this coffee or whatever it was. I feel like it was presented in the wrong way as far as the brand presents it in the wrong way because they're calling it coffee, but it's really just a hot beverage. It's not really coffee. And so if you're going into expecting some bold coffee flavor, you're not going to get that. I had to take the haters. And that's what I responded to some of them. I was like, hey, it's not for everybody, okay? Move on. It's okay. But there are always going to be people that have negative things to say. You've had some trolls big time. And I love how you deal with them because you basically thank them for keeping the engagement up on you. That's how you beat the trolls, right?
And trolls don't realize that I've come from the mindset of there's no such thing as bad publicity. There is bad publicity, but if you're a content creator and you're trying to get engagement, you can say that you like my videos, appreciate you, love you, thank you for your support. You can say that you hate my videos, but guess what? That comment still boosts me up. I get paid for my content. So each time you give a negative comment towards me, that's more money that goes in my pocket that I could take my wife out for a nice date night. So while I'm eating my fancy steak and you're at home typing on your computer, I'm eating those internet tears up. I don't care. Bring all the negative comments. All it does is just get people to see who Atlee is, and that just puts more eyes on me. I know there's a lot of content creators who see the trolling and they either get fazed by it or they get upset about it. And I know we're human. Sometimes we want to react and sometimes we want to say things. But I also have this weird theory, and I don't know if anybody else agrees with me or thinks it to be true, but I feel
Let's hear it.
There's a lot of content creators out there. In the last 4 years since content creation and being an influencer blew up, everybody wants to be a content creator and an influencer. And I say, if you have the passion for it, go right ahead. However, there's brands, there's platforms like Meta and TikTok that realistically know you can't pay and encourage everybody to be an influencer. They purposely create these bot accounts and welcome them in to purposely detract those creators and get them discouraged. And if they see those negative comments keep flowing in, it messes with your mental state. And you're like, all right, I don't want to do content creation anymore. So there's 100 people in the room and 10 people boo me, but 90 people cheer me. My attention is going to go towards the people that are cheering me on. The people that are booing, your volume is here, but the louder chants are coming from the people who are rooting me on, who are supporting me, who are actually engaging my content. Ultimately, it makes the people who support me feel like, wait, we're giving you our attention. We're trying to interact with you. Why aren't you commenting on our comments or engaging with us, but you're focusing on those trolls? And so when you have that mindset, then it gives the trolls the thought process of, this isn't going to work out. And I've had people who've tried to troll me and try to make negative comments, and they either get ignored or I'll tell them, thanks for the engagement, no harm. Okay, moving on. But yeah, that's just the nature of social media. I feel like a lot of these platforms want to discourage creators, and we have to just push past that and realize that we have the power. We're the ones who control the algorithm. We're the ones that are bringing attention to the platforms. Don't give that attention to negativity.
Yeah, and at the same time, you can also combat that. We interact with one another's content in a positive way. I do that with lots of people. I like to go out and see what other people are putting out there. Amateurs, professionals, it doesn't matter. If it's good content, it's good content, right? If you made a dish that looks amazing, I'm going to tell you that because the world needs that, right? They need more of that positivity, more compliments than negative comments. If you put a dish out there and I see it and I'm like, wow, that looks great, I'm going to say, wow, that looks great in the comments because that's what the world needs. And I think the world needs more of our positivity. And I see you do it. You're a pretty positive guy and you comment on my things sometimes. I comment on your things sometimes. It's something that I'm doing on purpose. I'm always putting those hearts out there, putting that love out there because people need that. And back to what we were talking about before, how people aren't really friends anymore in the same way that our parents were, let's say. This is how we show each other that we care, that we love each other, that we are genuinely interested in what each other have to say. This is real. I actually really like what you're putting out there when people get a comment from me. I hope that they can feel it, you know what I mean? Feel that love.
Yeah. I can't speak for any other niche out there, but one of the things that I love about the food and cooking niche is that, at least from my own eyes and my own experience, you could have a creator that has millions of followers. You can have a creator that has 20 followers. Me personally, I don't care how big your platform is. I get inspired by anybody who cooks. I've networked with people who've had less followers than I have, and they've had executive chef roles. They've worked with James Beard Foundation committee members. They have connections, and they have people that they work with who are on different levels that I could probably never imagine reaching. And vice versa. There are people who have been in the industry for periods of time who can't grow their social media platforms, who come to me and ask for tips on, oh, how can I resonate my content with my audience? How is it that I can reach out people on YouTube, on Instagram, and TikTok? And it just goes back to what you were saying before about building connections and friendships. And that's one of the reasons why I love the food niche, is that you get so many perspectives, you get so many cultures, you get so many ingredients put into a pot of people who are like just adamant on connecting. I feel like that's one of the things that makes this particular niche a favorite of mine.
And what better to get together on than food? The thing that everybody needs, that everybody wants, and everybody enjoys a good meal. Everybody does. I mean,
Exactly.
I can't think of one person out there that's, food.
Yeah, you learn something new every day from cooking too. Like whether you're a first time chef or you're somebody who's been in the kitchen for a long period of time, I've learned different ways of cooking produce and making recipes from watching chefs who've been in Michelin star kitchens for decades. I've learned different cultures, techniques when it comes to making stews, when it comes to making full meals. I would have never known unless I've gone on social media to see it. But
Yeah.
that's back to the point of community. And this can go for anybody's niche platform. Specifically for the cooking community, I feel like people should get past the whole concept of this person has X amount of followers or this person has X amount of experience. Well, we can all learn from one another. I've learned
Yeah.
a lot from you when we had the Organic Valley event and we got to know about each other's backgrounds, about how you like to cook with organic ingredients and how you worked in the restaurant industry and you cook healthy food for your families at home. These are things that I'd love to not just know about you, but it helps me to make more conscious decisions about what I'm eating, about what I'm cooking, or how I'm cooking. And I feel like a lot of content creators in our space could take those examples and learn from that because that's how you become better people. That's how you become a better chef. Is like those shared experiences bring out the best in us.
That's a great point. Becoming better people, that's key, man. That's my MO, right? To be a positive influence and try to be a good person, interact with people in a way that encourages them and educates at the same time. And I don't know it all, right? So I learned things from you. I watched some of your videos, especially about frying. Like, you're like the fry king, right? You know how to fry up chicken better than anybody I know. Better than me, in fact. And that's something that I can take from your content and go, oh, I wouldn't have thought of that because that's not a skill that I'm as proficient at as you are. And so I take a lot of inspiration from that kind of stuff where I'm watching content, even amateurs putting things out there and it's like, oh, why didn't I think of that? And instead of thinking of it like that, why didn't I think of that? It's, oh, this person thought of something cool. So let me adapt and let me try that out and take influence from it. I feel like people are competitive in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to be competitive. That's the whole point, right? We can all learn from one another. Just like you and I just said to each other, you like something that I do. I like something that you do. Now we have been influenced to change the way that we do things for the better.
I agree. And just going back briefly about that competitive part, I don't think there's anything wrong with being competitive. However, I do feel that competitiveness should not come at the price of your friendships or people in your level of expertise that support you.
Yeah.
For example, if I'm trying to make it to a cooking show, naturally I'm going to be competitive because I want to win that competition. But I'm not going to be competitive in the sense of if you and I are going for that same platform, I'm not going to sabotage your chances of getting on the show. It's really whoever they pick, obviously, will get chosen. But if they say, oh, what do you think about Dave and his cooking? I'm going to say nothing but great things about you because I'm going to be honest about it. And if they make their decision off of that, cool. But I'm never going to sacrifice a friendship or talk badly or negatively about somebody else all for the sake of leveling myself up. There's plenty of opportunities for us all out there. And I think people need to realize that. I feel like a lot of content creators think that we're just this small space of opportunity.
No, it's huge.
I've been in content creation for the last 5 years, and I've had opportunities to be on cooking shows, cooking competitions. I've had brand deals, and I still get those opportunities. They've thinned out a little bit, but I still get those opportunities. And they're available for anybody who is genuine. They're available for anybody who was actively out there working hard and trying. You just have to work hard and just keep applying yourself.
And some of it is straight up luck, really.
It is.
A lot of it's just that person just happened to come across your content and happened to think you were the fit for whatever they were trying to produce. I used to play hockey. I haven't played hockey in years, but I used to play hockey, and we always used to say, leave it on the ice. We can go out there and be in fierce competition because it is a game. It is competition. But as soon as we leave that ice, we're back to being bros. You know, that's the way it should be. You can't get ugly and let it carry over. You can't work so hard to defeat other people that you aren't successful yourself because you've put all of your energy into defeating somebody when you could have been putting all that energy into succeeding yourself. There's not enough time in the day to be nasty and go on rants about other people, because what are you doing? You're just giving them publicity.
Exactly. You're doing exactly what the trolls are doing. Why would I spend most of my time talking negatively about somebody else? If that's most of my time spent on social media, people aren't going to be like, oh, yeah, that person is terrible. They're going to be like, what makes them so bad? And then when they go to their platforms and see that they're actually doing well, then that kind of backfires on you, because now you
Yep.
have it where you're basically giving them free press.
It's just better to support and or just say nothing at all. If you got something
Yeah.
bad to say, just don't say it. Just let it go. I was thinking about this earlier. I have a rare thing with you. I actually have video of the first time that we met. How many people can you say you have any sort of real documentation of when you actually met a person?
Pretty much nobody.
Yeah, pretty much nobody, right?
Yeah.
I was rolling most of the time during that Organic Valley visit. For those that don't know, Pat and I met on the Organic Connection, which is a program put on by Organic Valley. It's a group of ambassadors that they brought to Wisconsin to see the process, some of the behind the scenes stuff. We got to meet farmers and cows, and we got to eat a lot of great food. And it was so much of a connection. Like, I still talk to pretty much everybody from that group in one way or another. Some more than others. You develop relationships with people differently. But yeah, I was rolling, and Patrick, this is Cooking with Pat Lee. Man, was
Maurice.
that like 2 years ago? Man, time really flies. But when we had some time on the bus to catch up and talk while we were riding through the green countryside of Wisconsin and experience those things that we'd never experienced before. And so it created a bond. But that's when, after the experience is over, right, you got to keep in touch. And it can be hard to do, especially if you have lots and lots of supporters. You can't keep up with every single person. You can't reply back to every single person. It comes to a point where it's just impossible, basically. How do you deal with that? Because you have more supporters, followers in your account than I have. How do you deal with that lapse in communication?
Oh, that's a good question. This is something that I've talked about for a while on my platforms, but now I have a whole different perspective. So when I first became a content creator, and for the most part I do it now, I always made the promise that I wanted to stay connected with my supporters, because I didn't want to be one of those creators and influencers that, you start to build up your platform and then you talk with people and you interact and engage. And then as you start to grow, your participation dwindles down. And before, I always thought of it as content creators are just ignoring their audience and they're not really trying to connect. But I have a mutual who has probably about 3 million supporters on all of his platforms combined. It does get hard to connect with every single person that you talk with. It does get mentally exhausting because he has 3
Sure.
million supporters all across the board. He gets people who send messages every single day, from brands to supporters asking general questions. Of course, you get the occasional troll, and it gets mentally taxing to respond to everybody. So sometimes for him, he's just, I'm gonna put my content out there. I'll dedicate maybe 15 minutes per platform to respond to messages and respond to comments. And then after that, I'm going to go on and either work on more content or I'm going to scroll social media. Because if you spend all that time going back and forth and engaging with people, then it never stops. Those comments keep flowing and flowing.
With 3 million,
Yeah.
they're doing it by themselves?
Yeah, so he's actually in the process of getting a social media manager to moderate some of those comments. But like myself, he's doing that on his own. And that took a toll. For me, while I have been, for the most part, for the last 5 years, up until recently, I've been able to manage all those comments and talk to everybody. A lot of those comments came at a price. So a story that I tell everybody that I will share with your platform as well is that for the first maybe 3 years or so, nobody knew that I had a fiance, who's my wife now. So I started opening up my platform to talk to people through DM and started connecting with people. And a lot of the comments went left when really all I wanted to do was to talk to people about cooking and help answer questions. And so then when I started to post more about her and started showing that, hey, I'm not here for any of that nonsense. I'm just here to show you guys recipes and the different restaurants and things like that. My support went down and I was able to build it back up. But the engagement kind of only showed me that people are only interested at that point in time for the wrong reasons. And so now when I connect with people and talk with them, I know that they're mostly there to just talk about cooking, to talk about the restaurants that I visited, to ask genuine questions and tips about the recipes that I make or recipes that they want to make that they have an interest in. And so it makes it a little bit easier to manage those conversations because I know what your intentions are. And a lot of content creators, I'm pretty sure you can agree with me too. Some people will try to gravitate towards your pages or your platform simply because you are a content creator. People, you're in certain spaces. So they see that as an opportunity of you're famous, you know somebody, or you're somebody that I could benefit off of. And I want to become your friend because of that. Not because, oh, you're a nice person, you're cool, you and I have the same values. And it took me a while to realize that not every person that reaches out to you is there to genuinely support you or to talk with you. Some people are just there because they want that exposure that you have. And once I started to realize that, it made it easier to weed out the people who were just there to get their quick 15 minutes of fame and people who I can genuinely connect with. Like I said, that's part of the reason why our friendship, I feel, definitely works because we didn't know each other as content creators or chefs at first. We were just two people who happened to be on a trip, who built the connection and kind of took it from there. But for somebody who even the person that I mentioned earlier who has the 3 million followers across the board, we both got into the game as content creators and then we built the friendship and connection after that, which is hard. But we grew our platforms around the same exact time, so we knew what each other's intentions were. And that's not the case for everybody, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you've always had more followers than I have. You got started a little earlier than me. What did I do? I said, hey, how'd you do that? It's more, okay, I see somebody that I align with that is successful. So why not just ask, hey, how'd you end up where you are? And just being a genuine person is actually your success, I think, because people watch you and I see the interactions. And I get a lot of this too. I get a lot of really genuine interactions. And you can tell that we're genuine people by the way that people react and interact with us. Now, you're right. Some of them are a little sleazy sometimes, and they have to be corrected. Just made aware that we're not here to play. We want to help people. We want to teach. We're married. So let's just be honest, y'all, that we're married and happily, I'm going to let somebody on the internet mess with that.
Oh, yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, you're right. It's hard to navigate who's genuine, who's not genuine. Sometimes when you're leveled up, you're up there, you've got a lot of followers or you've got a lot of engagement and people try to latch on and, hey, how you doing that? So I'm here to say, I learned it from Pat, so ask him.
And there's nothing wrong with asking a creator or even using myself as an example. Nothing wrong with asking me, hey, how did you get to where you're at? These are questions that I don't mind people asking me because people ask me that kind of question all the time. But at the same time, I would like for people to actually reach out to me and try to connect with me first. Because there's lots of times where people will reach out to me and go, hey, love your platform. How did you get 1 million followers? And then they want to, and they don't even follow my content. They don't like any of the posts that I make. They're just there to leech off information. And that's not what I'm trying to do right now. I'm not saying that I don't want to help you, but at the same time, if you're not even a supporter of mine, why am I going to go out of my way to say, okay, let me share something with you if you're not really there from me from the jump?
Yes, absolutely. That is exactly what I want to say to some people. They just at least try a little bit just to be personal and get to know me before you start. Hit me with hard questions so that you show all your cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like maybe if people did get to know me or you, that they wouldn't take that approach anymore because of who we are and how we are. We're approachable, and not everybody is. This is not an open invitation for everybody in the world to email me right now. Please don't, because I will not be able to get to all of you.
Do that.
Can't do that. But if you learn something from this interaction, take it, apply it to your own life. Because, dude, people need to learn how to conduct themselves. Who are you most like in your family?
Oh, that's a good question because I don't think I'm like anybody in my family. I'm very sarcastic. I'm very extroverted. I'm very outspoken. I'm not shy at all. So I guess I could say I get a little bit from everybody. Like, mom is very outspoken, so I get that outspokenness from her. My cool, calm, and collective side I get from my dad. And I would say my kindness I get from my grandmother. So I would say that I get a little bit of my personality from every single person in my family that's influenced my style of cooking and my personality. But yes, it's tough to say that because if you ever sat down with all of us in the room, I'm going to be the one that talks the most. I'm going to be the one that cracks the most jokes. I'm going to be the one that says the most outlandish thing. Not offensive, but I'll say the most randomest of things. And people like giving me the funniest looks. But that's just my personality as who I am.
Dude, we're like the same person in that way because that's me too. My brother is a little more outlandish than I am. He's a wise guy. But my mom is the more vocal one. My dad's a little more reserved, calm, cool, collective kind of guy. I got some influence from my grandparents as well. That's crazy how two people who grew up in different parts of the country with different influences can still have similar backgrounds and draw from those backgrounds and have the same kind of end result too, because you're outspoken, you're not shy, you're comfortable in front of the camera, and nobody else in my family is like, oh yeah, let's get in front of the camera, except for maybe my brother. He likes to play with video and he likes to put on his radio voice. People do that. Like, and now, here we are with the podcast.
I tend to do that sometimes. I have a radio voice. And this is something that I've actually had to work with when it comes to reinventing myself. People know that I was born and raised in New York, Brooklyn specifically. And whenever I talk as a New Yorker, there's an accent, which I just discovered that I had. But I also talk fast. And people who I've grown up with can understand me. But there have been times where I've posted a video and I've done a voiceover. And I'm thinking I'm talking a normal pace, like I'm trying to talk now. And then people will say, oh, you're talking way too quickly. I don't understand what you're saying. So I had to dial down and think, how could I speak a little bit slower in a way that you can understand me, but at the same time, it doesn't take away from my voice. And so I started doing voiceovers about a month or so ago once I got my new camera and set up. And I was like, I don't want to just have a new camera and a new cinematic style. I want to have it resonate with the voiceovers. And I had created my little studio that I have here, my lights and everything. I started putting on some lo-fi music, and then I started talking, doing the voiceover, and I was like, what if I slow it down so it sounds like the old school, and you hear that like deepness in the voice, and you hear the tone kind of dial down a bit. And I just started playing around with that, and I was like, we'll see how that resonates with my audience. Second, I posted the videos. Your voice is so soothing. Oh my God, I didn't know you could talk like that. And I'm like, but that's how I've always talked. In my head, that's how I always thought I talked. But no, that's just people thought I talked fast. And so I had to start doing that radio voice as a way to help a certain portion of my audience understand and hear my content and to be able to experience it without having to say, oh, you're talking too fast. Can you slow down a bit? It comes in handy in some aspects, and it actually has helped me to connect with my audience in different ways.
I'm more likely to do it on a voiceover too. I understand. You know who has the best voice for voiceover? We both know him, Chef Ked.
No, yeah, he does. I love his voiceovers.
Oh my gosh.
I like your voiceovers too. Your voiceovers remind me of watching like Anthony Bourdain's videos. Like whenever you hear him talk and he's going through like the traveling around the world and showing the different landscapes, showing the different restaurants. That's how I picture your voiceovers.
I'm honored because I love Anthony Bourdain.
Same.
When I started making the 50 by 50 videos, he was who I pictured in my head as like my influence for traveling around and trying new things and just how open and honest he is. I'm naturally that way, but that's why I connect with him. That's what resonates with me is that openness of Anthony Bourdain. So thank you. That is quite the compliment. That's some big shoes to fill, bro.
I don't know if you ever heard of him before. Ainsley Harriott. He's a British chef. He had a cooking show way back in the day when I was in high school. And he does a lot of African Caribbean food content that's really high energy, really exciting. Those are my inspirations. So for those of y'all who know, I did have a podcast previously, Cast Iron Conversations, where, as Dave mentioned earlier, he was one of my first guests, where I interviewed chefs and creatives alike. And I started to realize that I love interviewing people and getting that behind the scenes glimpse of what it's like for chefs beyond the kitchen. I wanted to go beyond the kitchen and do something like how they're doing, how Anthony and Ainsley are doing it, where you're actually going to these restaurants and you go into these places that serve food and you're getting to connect with the people who eat there. You're getting to connect with the cooks, the head chefs, the hostesses, the people who are actually in this field every single day. And so I pivoted my content towards that because I wanted to get outside of the normal box that I'm in of interviewing and interview people on a grander scale. And Anthony Bourdain is one of my inspirations. And while I don't have the budget to travel the world, I do have the budget and footprint to travel within my direct area and kind of expose and showcase some of the great restaurants here, because not a lot of people know about Delaware's restaurant scene. But that's what the purpose of the content is, to go out there and see it firsthand. What restaurants are out here? What restaurants define the Delaware lifestyle, the culture, the inhabitants of this great state? And I think it's unique because just like Anthony Bourdain's content, a lot of this stuff he's experiencing for the first time. So when you see me go to some of these restaurants, it's not a pre-scripted, hey, I've been here before, I've tried your food. This is me talking to these people for the first time. This is me talking to the owners for the first time, me talking to the customers for the first time, me even trying the food for the first time. So you'll get that authenticity that I had in the podcast, but now it's visual. So you'll still see interviews, you'll still see me talking with people, but this is more so I'm sitting down with the head chef of a certain restaurant and we're having a conversation and it's done in real time.
That is very similar to what I do on the 50 by 50 episodes. I'll go into a restaurant. I've never been there before. Heck, I probably haven't even been to that state before a lot of times.
Yeah.
And you go in and you just have a genuine experience. And somehow I feel like that will encourage people to go out there and do that. There's a whole world out there and we just have to go out there and explore it. If I can encourage somebody to get out there and just try whatever it is, that my job is done. If I can just encourage a few people to go out and try something. It doesn't even have to be that particular restaurant. Just go out there and experience the world, because life's too short to sit at your desk and do your work and eat a frozen dinner and watch TV till you're dead.
Oh yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And just my last point on that topic, circling back to our initial conversation when we started talking about community. And this is not a knock on anybody who does this particular type of content, because I think there's a place for any type of content when it comes to food, as long as it highlights it in a personal and approachable way. I think that the type of food reviews that are done nowadays, that's oversaturated. And I say that to say there's a lot of content creators who do food reviews in their car. There's a lot of content creators who they'll review the food. They'll review it when it's not in its natural element. Got yourself a medium rare steak. Got it to go. You took it home. That steak has had time to cool from medium rare to slightly medium-ish. So that taste isn't exactly going to be the same as if you were to sit down in a restaurant. And going back to that community aspect, my purpose is to go into, I'll just name a random restaurant just to name it, but not actually saying that I've been there. Let's say
Okay.
if I've gone to Texas Roadhouse and I go to Texas Roadhouse to have a steak. I'm in the actual restaurant. I'm ordering my food. You'll see that on camera. While I'm ordering my food, I'll talk to people at the bar, asking how long they've been coming to this restaurant. What's their favorite thing to eat here? I'll talk to the waiters and waitresses. What do you like about serving people? How do you deal with customer service on a day-to-day basis, dealing with rude customers, dealing with pleasant customers, that type of thing. You get those real-life conversations. You get to see me taste that food that was meant to be tasted in a restaurant, live there. You get my actual honest reaction. Now, we'll say the purpose of this isn't to bash any restaurants. I know there are some content creators who get views and visibility on trashing a restaurant completely. I'm not here to trash anybody. If I say I like something, if I say I don't like something, I will say one or two things that I may not have found favorable, but I'm still going to promote that restaurant and tell you to come try it out for yourself. And that aspect of community, I feel, is lost in a lot of food reviews now. I'm trying to let people see the restaurant industry from a different perspective. I'm trying to do what Guy Fieri did with Triple D, what Anthony Bourdain did with No Reservations, is to give you that experience of community and food from a worldly view, not just from the driver's seat of my car or at my home. Everything has to be done in real time to give you that real life experience.
Yeah, and those, I don't like those reviews where you're doing it from the car either. Because I'll give you a good example. There's a pizza place. It's just across the border in Alabama. And it is 6 minutes drive from my house, 6 minutes. If I eat in that restaurant, that pizza is better fresh out the oven than it is when it goes into a box and even travels 6 minutes to my house. It always is. I eat there in person when I have the opportunity because it's a better experience. It's still good pizza when I get it home 6 minutes later,
Yeah.
but there's something different about eating it fresh. Most food is not meant for takeout. We do it as a convenience, but it's not meant for takeout. It's meant to be eaten fresh. Even fast food. You eat the French fries straight out the gate, or do you wait 15 minutes for them to get cold and not so great?
Exactly.
It's a great point that you bring up, to eat in the restaurant and enjoy the food the way it's meant to be enjoyed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate your honest content and the way that you communicate with your community and build community with your content. So keep doing what you're doing. Even if you get a job, still do it, man. Because the world needs more Pat Lees.
I appreciate that. And keep doing what you're doing as well, too. And just to give you guys a glimpse of how inspiring Dave is to me, one thing I love about his platforms, we'll first start with the cooking platform. One thing I love about his cooking is that he can take leftovers and recreate them to the point where you wouldn't even know that the recipe had leftovers. And I've seen him do that with pizzas, which he's phenomenal with the pizzas. I've seen him do it with bread dishes. He's actually sponsored, I believe, still with Misfits Market, and that's a brand that kind of promotes that type of cooking. As somebody who doesn't really like leftovers, I love watching his leftover videos because it gives me inspiration to go, okay, I have, let's say, a leftover short rib. What could I do with it? I go to his page, I'll get an idea. Oh, cool, you inspired me to do something different. And also with the 50 by 50 platform, which I hope that he still gets to do in the future, I love the idea of going to all 50 states, showing what the food scene is like in each state, talking to different people. Because again, what we do isn't just for content creation. We're educators, we're chefs, we're people who like to influence and showcase what goes on in the kitchens and outside the kitchen. And I feel we're big on community. We need to bring community back. And if we have people like us consistently speaking and bringing that up, we don't have a choice but to come together and work together. I say that to say, keep doing what you're doing, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a YouTube platform, God willing, get your own platform on a national television show to do this. You have my support. Just keep building community and keep just doing what you're doing.
Thank you. And yeah, that goes to everybody. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. And be friends. Be real life friends, because it matters. It really matters. All right, my friend. Thank you for joining me for the podcast. We
Anytime.
put a whole bunch out there, man.
We did.
Hopefully, everyone can take a little something from it. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Anytime, man. Anytime. We'd love to come back.
All right. If you want to hear more content like this, like and subscribe. We'll see you soon.